कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे Nidai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Stotra Shata Sriman Avaya Charana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Stotra Shata Sriman Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथ पुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेद भक्त वृंद की जय All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Today we are going to discuss Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, text number 20. I'll read the sloka, the text, and you all can repeat. Iti guhyatamam shastram. Iti guhyatamam shastram.
You need to start your screen share, Prabhu.
Yeah, screen share.
Your screen share stopped when you went offline.
Where to start? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Screen sharing. Coming, Mata, screen sharing?
No, Prabhu. Some of your students are trying to do it instead, but you're not coming. You need to go back on Zoom and start again, screen sharing.
More. Oh, I should switch off? Record.
You should bring back Zoom on your screen and then start screen sharing from there.
Yeah. Stop video, mute, more. Screen share is not seen here. Invite, record, and where it had gone.
It should be in the middle of the screen at the bottom, a green screen share. Coming from start video, we'll go to the middle of the screen. There's a screen share button, share screen, green.
Yeah.
So click on that and start again.
Coming, Mataji, now. Screen share, I have Let's do that.
Then you have to select what you're sharing.
Share screen. Yeah. It was sharing earlier.
Yeah, I know. Now there's students of yours are sharing instead of you. They're getting in the way. Try again.
Screen share. Yes. Share. Okay,
Good.
Mandir.
Yeah, now you're fine. Now they can't interfere. Good. Thank you, Prabhu.
I'm sorry. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So today we are discussing chapter 15, text number 20. I will read the text and you all can repeat. Iti guhyatamam shastram. Iti guhyatamam shastram. Idabhuktam maya naga. Idamuktam maya naga. Etad buddhva buddhimam syat. Etad buddhva buddhimam syat. Krita kritasya bharata. Krita kritasya bharata. So word to word meaning, translation and purport by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Iti, thus, the most confidential, Shastram, revealed scripture, Uktam, disclosed. Anagha, O sinless one, Etat, this, Buddhva, understanding, Buddhiman, intelligent, Syat, one becomes, Kritakrityaha, the most perfect in endeavors, Cha, and Bharata, O son of Bharata. Krishna is explaining this. The translation is, this is the most confidential part of Vedic scriptures. O sunless one, O sinless one. It is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. Perfect. Perfect. The Lord clearly explains that this is the substance of all revealed scriptures. And this, as it is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, one will become intelligent and perfect in transcendental knowledge. In other words, by understanding this philosophy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engaging in his transcendental service, everyone can become freed from all contaminations of the modes of material nature. Devotional service is a process of spiritual understanding. Wherever devotional service exists, the material contamination cannot coexist. Devotional service to the Lord and the Lord himself are one and the same because they are spiritual. Devotional service takes place within the internal energy of the Supreme Lord. The Lord is said to be the sun, and ignorance is called darkness. Where the sun is present, there is no question of darkness. Therefore, wherever devotional service is present, under the proper guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, there is no question of ignorance. Everyone must take this consciousness of Krishna and engage in devotional service to become intelligent and purified. Unless one comes to this position of understanding Krishna and engages in devotional service, however intelligent he may be, in the estimation of some common man, he is not perfectly intelligent. The word anaga by which Arjuna is addressed is significant. Anagha, O sinless one, means that unless one is free from all sinful reactions, it is very difficult to understand Krishna. One has to become free from all contamination, all sinful activities. Then he can understand. But devotional service is so pure and potent that once one is engaged in devotional service, he automatically comes to the stage of sinlessness. While one is performing devotional service in the association of pure devotees in Krishna consciousness, there are certain things which require to be vanquished altogether. The most important thing one has to surmount is weakness of the heart. The first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over material nature. Thus, one gives up the transcendental loving service of the Lord, Supreme Lord. The second weakness is the heart. The second weakness of the heart is that one increases the propensity to lord it over material nature. He becomes attached to the matter and the position of the matter. The problems of material existence are due to the weakness of the heart. In this chapter, the first 5 verses describe the process of freeing oneself from these weaknesses of heart. And the rest of the chapter, from the 6th verse to the end, discuss Purushottama Yoga. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purport to the 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of Purushottama Yoga, the yoga of Supreme Person. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Kekshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurun Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gauravakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. This is one of the most important slokas of Bhagavad Gita, and this chapter is one of the most confidential part of Vedic scripture is revealed by Krishna. The most confidential part of Vedic scriptures is revealed in this chapter. And Krishna says, whoever understands this, he will become intelligent, he will become wise. Buddhiman. Etad buddhva buddhiman syat. And not only he becomes wise, intelligent person, and he becomes perfect in his endeavors. His endeavors will become perfect. Etad buddhva buddhiman syat kruta krutasya bharata. His endeavors will become perfect. So, as everyone wants to become wise, intelligent, and whatever he is attempting, everyone aims to make it perfect. So this is important and required by each and everyone who is trying to become intelligent to understand this. So what is that most confidential part of Vedic scripture Krishna has disclosed? This is very interesting to know. Now, if we see from the beginning, Krishna has explained about the tree, banyan tree, which is inverted and whose roots are actually upwards and the branches are downwards. Urdhva moolam adaschakam ashwatam prahuravayam chandansi yasya parnani yastam veda savedavid. This one, the branches or upwards, roots are, or branches are downwards, roots are upwards, and the leaves are the Vedic Hemant. The person who knows the tree is the knower of the Vedas. Whoever understands this tree, he will become the knower. He will get the knowledge of the Vedas. So we should understand what this tree is. Krishna further explains, the branches extend adashodam prasthadasya shaka guna pravadha vishaya pravala. This is most important, that they extend and to the branches to the downwards and upwards of the roots, twigs are there, and all these things are there. Actually they are nutrition. They are nutrition by the three modes of material nature. And they are bound to the fruitive actions. This tree has roots even going down also, and these are bound. These are bound to the fruitive actions of the human society. So Krishna further says, the real picture, the real form of the tree, this banyan tree, nobody can understand. Only one thing what you have to do is cut down the tree. Cut down the tree. Now what weapon you have? Krishna says you have the weapon of detachment. So with the detachment as the weapon and determination, with determination, you cut down. Once you cut down, then one should surrender to Krishna or the Supreme Personality of Godhead by searching where from nobody can come back. So Krishna says you have got the weapon of detachment, and you should have the determination. Now, no, anybody cannot have AK-47 in his hand. Only the people who are qualified, the army people, the police people who are qualified, they are given the weapon. So Krishna gives the qualification for going to that eternal kingdom. What are the basic qualifications? Krishna explains in text number 5. One who is free from illusion, one who is free from false prestige, and false association. One who understands the eternal and one who is done with the material lust, one who is actually free from material lust, and who is also freed from duality of happiness and distress, and one who knows how to surrender to the Supreme. That person only can attain the eternal kingdom. So each sloka, Krishna very nicely explains. Now, what is that abode? Krishna's abode. Krishna explains in text number 6 that abode of mine is not illumined by sun or moon or by electricity. And the person who reaches there, he will not return to this material world. Krishna is explaining this, my abode is not an ordinary abode where for illumination purpose we require sun, electricity. No, that means everything is coming from Krishna only. And one who reaches there, he will not return because he is free from the Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, birth, death, disease, and the old age. So further Krishna explains the very good, very important concepts. So I have explained about my abode, Krishna says, and the qualification of the person who can reach the abode. But all these living entities, all of you, even though you are in the material world, you are my part and parcel. You are my eternal fragmental parts. Krishna says, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. And why you are suffering here? Why you are struggling? Because you are conditioned life. Condition means you are under the influence of three modes of material nature, and that's why you are struggling very hard. Then how actually the person moves from one body to another body, Krishna explains in text number 8 and 9. Shariram medamapnoji echaprit kamatishvara. As the different conceptions of the life is told in the person's mind, he carries all those conceptions, all those desires, all those what he wanted to do from one body to another body. Just like the air carries the aroma. From when the air is passing through very fragrant flowers, it carries that fragrance of the flowers. If it is passing through roses, it carries roses. If it is passing through, if the air is passing through the lilies, it will carry the fragrance of lily. So, like that, the human beings, they are carrying the conceptions, the ideas, the desires from one body to another body. So, to enable to enjoy those desires and conceptions, ideas, Krishna says he will get the body accordingly. Just like suppose somebody wants to eat meat by killing a deer. So he will get the shape. He will get the ear, tongue, nose of such an animal where he will fulfill that desire. Krishna says this actually is creating problem. That's why the foolish fellows, the foolish people don't understand how to quit the body and what body he is going to get. Krishna explains in text number 10. And those who are trained in Krishna consciousness, in the knowledge, he can understand. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajachante kalevaram. Whatever we think at the time of death, we are going to attain the same. So when a person is in Krishna consciousness, he is going to attain. All these things, foolish person cannot understand. Whereas the person who has understood the knowledge, who is in Krishna consciousness, can understand. And Krishna again explains that the transcendentalist who is situated in the self-realization can actually clearly view what he is going to attain, what is actually taking place, but the other persons cannot understand. So in text number 12, Krishna explains the sunshine comes from me only. यदादित्य गतम तेजो जगद्भा सहितैकिलम यच्चंद्रमसि यच्चग्नो तत्तेजो विद्युमामकम. Even the splendor of the moon, splendor of the sun comes only from me. So the scientists are working hard day and night. How actually sun is giving the sunshine? So there are so many theories, but if they understand Bhagavad Gita, if they read Bhagavad Gita, they will understand clearly that the shining, the splendor of the sun is actually given by Krishna. It is coming from Krishna, as text number 12 of 15 indicates. And then the most important, Gama Vishachabhutani Dharayam Mehmodisa. How these planets are retaining their orbits, what makes them to have the balanced force that they don't fall down or they don't change the orbit. Krishna says, Gama Vishachabhutani. I enter each planet and by my energy, they are staying in the orbit. And I enter the moon and give the juice to the vegetables and the medicinal plants. So Krishna says, it is my energy due to which each of the planets, they are situated in their orbit. That strength is given by me because I enter each planet and give the strength. Then in the 14th text, Krishna says, I am there in everyone's body digesting the food. And in 15, Krishna explains the most important thing. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smriti gnanam apohanancha. I am seated in everyone's heart. Whether it is a snake, whether it is an ant or anything. And from me, the intelligence, the memory, and the forgetfulness comes. A snake which has just come out of the egg doesn't eat apple. It has to go and search for the prey, a mouse, a rat, catch it and eat it. What makes it to get this knowledge? What makes it not to eat apple? What is that inside which is giving the force to think that this is not an eatable, this is the eatable, this is not the place where I have to live, where I have to sleep, this is not the place where I have to roam around. Who is giving the knowledge? What makes the snake to eat the rat only? For this, there is no answer from any of the big scientists. Krishna explains, I am the person who is situated in everyone's heart, and from me come the remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. And Krishna further explains, Krishna is the one who has to be understood from the Vedas. Vedas are meant for understanding Krishna only, and Krishna is the compiler of the Vedas. So one person is sitting under the apple tree. Apple is falling on his head. This fellow is not bothered. Oh, I am sitting under the apple tree and apple is falling. This is not a great thing. Huh? It is not some other fruit, jackfruit falls on me. No, it's only apple which has to fall. There is nothing. Whereas one scientist who is called Newton, the moment the fruit has fallen, the apple has fallen, then he gets the brainwave. He gets the idea that the earth has got gravitational force due to which everything comes back to the earth. So who is giving the intelligence? The answer is only Krishna. The scientists, the doctors, the big, the so-called very intelligent scientists, they can't answer this unless they read, understand Bhagavad Gita, that it is Krishna who is giving intelligence to everyone. And in text 16, Krishna explains there are two classes of people. One is fallible, another is infallible. The people who are, the living entities who are in the material world are fallible, and those who are in the spiritual world are unfallible. Besides that, Krishna explains in text 17 that there is the greatest living personality, Krishna, who has entered these worlds, and he is the one who is maintaining it. Uttama Purushasvanya Paramatme Chadavhrutaha Yo Lokatrayama Vishya Bivartavi Ishvaraha. And because I am transcendental, beyond the fallible and infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated in the world, in the Vedas, as the Supreme Person. Arjuna, understand this. Krishna is explaining to Arjuna so that the human beings can understand, the human society can understand the fact that Krishna is the greatest and he is the one who is celebrated whole in the whole world and in the Vedas as the supreme person, Purushottama. And the person who understands this, who knows this without any doubt, is the one who has understood everything. Krishna is declaring, Yo mameva sammudo janati purushottamam. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without any doubt, without doubting, is to be understood as the knower of everything. He is a very highly knowledgeable person. What is that we should know? We should know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting. And if a person has really understood, if a person has really doesn't have any doubt, immediately he will engage himself in full devotional service. On the contrary, if a person is not engaging in the devotional service, it is clear that he is either doubting about the supremacy of the Krishna, supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or he has not understood Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why he is unable to put himself in the devotional service. So, at the end, Krishna explains the person who understands this will become wise, intelligent, and his endeavors will know perfection, will become perfection. And Krishna is explaining that this is the most confidential part of Vedic scriptures. And Krishna is disclosing this in this Bhagavad Gita chapter. So we should read this chapter 15 again and again in Adhik Masa, in this Purushottama Mas. Actually, every day we read these 20 texts so that we try to comprehend, we try to understand what Krishna is saying so that we become wise, intelligent, and our trials will be perfect. We have 2 more days, today and tomorrow. Those who have not read, they should immediately read as many times as possible and try to understand the most confidential knowledge given by Krishna, which is the gist of the Vedas. Human life is very, very valuable. If we waste the life just like the life of an animal, if we also lead the life as the life of an animal, then it's of no use. Because anyhow, we have to become animal after leaving this body. We have to get some animal or the other. 84 different types of lives are there, living entities are there. We are going to get that. So, what is the specialty of human being? The specialty of human being is the intelligence given by Krishna. If we don't utilize our intelligence and use it for the devotional activity, our life will be as equal, as useless as an animal life. Here is a story, a king and a poor charcoal seller. A charcoal seller, actually he cuts the tree, and then in the evening, in the whole day, he works hard to cut the branches, the wood, and then in the night, he puts the fire and makes the charcoal. In the morning, he takes the charcoal and goes to the market and sells. Being very poor, that man goes to the king and he requests, "Oh king, kindly help me. I am so poor." King says, "Oh, what is that you do?" He says, "I am the person who cut the tree," and then all that. And then the king says, "Okay, I give you some the sandalwood trees there, and you make use of that. You will become rich." So this charcoal seller, he says, "Okay, thank you." He goes and he does the same thing. He cuts the tree, and in the evening he tries to put the fire, and morning he takes the charcoal, goes to the market, and charcoal, he sells the charcoal and comes back, makes the money, gets the money for running the family. So saying this king had given these trees, and what great difference it is making. He cuts all the trees, and then he was living like that. Once king remembers that he had given the sandalwood trees to this fellow, and I should know whether he had become a very, very rich man or not. The sandalwood is so costly, and I have given so many trees to him. Now it is almost 1 year. So just check up. He sends his people. And they come back and tell him he is living in the same condition, in the hut, in a very poor condition. There is no difference. King goes to him. "Hey, what is the problem with this fellow? I have given the sandalwood trees and this fellow is still poor. What is the problem with this fellow?" So he goes there and calls, "Oh man, come here." He says, "Yes. So I see all the trees are finished and you are remaining as poor person. You are still poor only. Your poverty is still remaining there." The charcoal seller says, "I am doing the same thing. I am cutting the branches, the tree, and then in the night I put the fire, and in the morning I take the charcoal and go to the market and sell and come back. I am getting more or less same money." "You are putting fire to sandalwood and converting it into charcoal, and then you are selling it as charcoal? How foolish you are. Take this small piece of sandalwood." He hands over the king gives a small piece of sandalwood, this small piece. And he says to that charcoal seller, "Shout loudly, the sandalwood for sale, and come back." you will understand. That fellow goes to the market and shouts, "Sandalwood, sandalwood for sale." And he gets a very good amount. Then he comes back and he feels such a small piece has given so much of money to me. Had I used the whole tree, so many trees, I would have become really rich. What a foolish fellow I am. Really, our life is identical. We are wasting our time if we are not using it in the devotional service of Krishna. And at the end of our life, if we want to do any service, we will be left with no time. Because our death is certain, we don't know when we are going to leave this body. So before it becomes late, we should wake up and become intelligent. Only intelligent people can become Krishna consciousness. Krishna says only after becoming wise you can become Krishna conscious, because you understand yo mameva asammudo. Without any doubt, if you are understanding, then you will become perfect. So if we are leading material life, that means we are only going to fulfill the material desires again and again and again and again. Whatever desires we are having, material desires, those desires will be fulfilled in the next lives. And that means we are in the birth and death cycle only. We cannot come out. In this chapter, Krishna is clearly explaining, you are on this tree, the reverse banyan tree, and you are moving from one branch to another. You can't come out on your own unless you cut down the tree, unless you develop the detachment and the determination. So with the determination and detachment, when we cut down these material desires, which are entering our mind, and the detachment from the material positions, then only we can progress in our spiritual life. Actually, any human being, anybody will be getting a number of ideas, desires, material desires. Krishna explains in chapter 2, text number 70, Apuryamana Machala Pratishtam. Apuryamana Machala Pratishtam Samudramapa Pravishanti Yadvat Tadvat Kamayam Pravishanti Sarve Sashanti Mapnoti na Kama Kami. A person will be getting so many ideas, so many desires. So many desires are entering the brain. If he is stable, if he doesn't make efforts to satisfy those desires, fulfill those desires, he will have the peace of mind. Otherwise, he will lose the peace of mind. Krishna compares it with the rivers entering the ocean. When rivers are entering the ocean is just steady. It doesn't get agitated. Similarly, Krishna says, when the flow of desires are coming, be steady. Don't try to fulfill those desires. If you try for fulfilling those desires, your peace of mind is lost. You are bound with these attachments. You can never come out. So when the desires are coming, don't act on them, don't get disturbed, be steady. But this condition is possible only when a person is in Krishna consciousness, as directed by our Srila Prabhupada. If we try to continue the chanting and following the regulative principles, then only we will be steady in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, not. Otherwise, we'll be in this hamster wheel. This is hamster wheel. This keeps on moving and moving and moving and moving. He thinks, yeah, I am going to achieve. I am going to achieve money. I am going to achieve a big house, woman, wine, parties, and all that. I want to enjoy. I am going to get all of them. And the whole life he will be working and working and working. And even after the death, as a ghost, he will be working and working and working. He will never achieve it because the desires are so many and there is no peace of mind. The thing is, we have two choices. We have come to this material world, we have to dance. You can dance as a puppet under Krishna, or you can dance as the master dances. Master makes us to dance as the monkey. Here, when the person is dancing like a monkey, the master, this man, he thinks that this fellow is dancing so nicely. So he wants more and more dances, more and more performances so that he can get more money. So if he doesn't perform it, then he will get punishment. And if he is performing nicely, he has to work more hard. If he doesn't perform, then also he will get beatings because he is not working. So in any case, the end result is getting some punishment and beatings only. There is no peace of mind. You take this puppet. The puppet is working. I am working as puppet. The puppet show, very nice puppet show. The puppet never gets any appreciation. It is the one who is actually making the puppet to dance. That is the puppeteer. Puppeteer gets all the appreciation. The show is very poor. The puppet is nothing to do with that. So anything good or bad or anything, he is totally dependent on the puppeteer. So if we dance as a puppet under the hands of Krishna, then we have no worries. Otherwise, we have only worries. So that's why we should surrender to Krishna, and then we have to take the Acharya's guidance. Because if we have Krishna, we have everything. Just like in this short story, there was a king, seeing the poverty of the people, he says, okay, I have so many things in my fort. Tomorrow, all of you people who want to get anything from my fort, from my palace, from my house, come in, and you take whatever you want. Tomorrow morning, anybody can come, touch it, that is yours. You touch the sofa, sofa is yours. You touch the golden glass, gold glass, that gold glass is yours. So everyone, all the people are saying, oh, tomorrow we are going to become rich, get rich. So the doors were open in the morning. King was sitting on his chair, on his simhasana, and he was watching. People are rushing. Somebody is taking the chair, somebody is taking the different articles, somebody is taking the statues, somebody is taking some kitchen articles, somebody is taking something, whatever they feel. The moment they are touching, that has become their own property. And the king is observing one lady is walking very fast. She is searching. He could understand. She is searching for somebody. And the moment she finds the king, she walks fast, runs towards king and touches the king and holds the king. King says, "What is that? You are touching me." Says, "What have you told in the yesterday's announcement? Whoever touches anything, they are going to own it. I am touching you. Now you are my owner. You have to marry me." King says, "Oh, you are the most intelligent person. Now I have become yours." And she gets married and she becomes queen. So if we take Krishna as our owner, if we choose Krishna, then we get everything. If we go for some other things, we will be left with very, very small things. We are going to get very small things. If we take Krishna, if we make Krishna as our owner and everything, then you have everything in your life. In chapter 8, text number 28, Vedeshu Yagneshu Tapassu Chaiva Daneshu Yat Punya Phalam Pratishtam. Krishna explains that you will get everything. Whatever you are doing, the austerities you are performing, the result of the charity, result of austerities, the result of reading the Vedas, all those things, result of the sacrifices, yagnas, you are going to get if you are in the devotional service. That's why we should immediately start the pure devotional service. Then only we can come out of these bondages of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we have the Katwanga king, the saint Katwanga, the saintly king. When he fought for all the demigods against the demigods were so happy and they wanted to give him benediction for material enjoyment. But Katwang Maharaj wanted to know only one thing. Kindly tell me how much life is left for me on the earth. They say 1 second, 1 moment as per their calculation, a few minutes on the earth. So he immediately comes down to the earth and totally engages himself in the devotional service and attains the Supreme. So we should immediately check ourselves whether we are really following all the devotional service with pure heart or whether we are doubting Krishna. If any such doubts are there, we have to read again and again this chapter 15 so that our doubts will become clear and we identify Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have to totally dedicate for Krishna. So when we do all the activities for the pleasure of Krishna, we are definitely going to come out of these material bondages. So Prabhupada suggested us a very simple procedure for this: chanting and then following the regulative principles. So with these things, I thought I should stop here. The conclusion part is that unless we understand Krishna clearly, we don't become wise. We are not wise people. And we should understand that Krishna's supreme nature without any doubt, then only we become a pure devotee. Then only we are really in the path of devotional service. With these things, I stop here, and if you have any valuable questions, if you have questions, kindly ask me. Each of your questions are valuable. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So if you have any questions, you can unmute and ask your questions.
Okay, I think
All is
we.
clear. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Anybody has raised question? I don't see. I don't know. I'm
No,
not
I
able
don't
to
see.
find. Yeah. So thank you very much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavad Gita.